Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my 12 Days of Christmas movie review series. And today I'm going over the movie Batman Returns. I don't think a lot of people consider this a Christmas movie, but I do since it takes place on Christmas. And I believe that a lot of the movie's plot kind of revolves around the Christmas time. So here we are. And before I kind of get into it, I am going to say that Tim Burton's Batman films aren't my favorite versions of Batman, so I do get that I have a bit of a bias to that, but I still enjoy them for the most part. But anyway, getting into the film now, I really liked the story. It doesn't really pick up where the first movie left off. I think Batman Returns takes place a year or two after the original, but Batman is now working with the police, and he comes into conflict with multiple villains, being the Penguin, played by Danny DeVito, and Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Michael Keaton comes back as Batman, and I believe the actors who played as Commissioner Gordon and Alfred come back, and it was nice to see those guys. Burton obviously came back to direct, but I really liked how this movie kept the darker setting from the original, and in some ways went even darker, where the Penguin's plan is to basically kidnap and or kill a bunch of kids during Christmas time. Come to think of it, it kind of reminds me of one of the Silent Night, Deadly Night films, even though I haven't seen those. But anyway, Danny DeVito, I think, does great as the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer is great as Catwoman. And Michael Keaton, as always, is awesome as Batman. Even though I didn't really like that creative choice, I do appreciate that they were able to bring him back for the Flash film last year. The whole setting about taking place on Christmas time, and that's where one of the minor villains, Max Schreck, comes in. I believe, let's see, if my memory's correct, he's played by Christopher Walken. He's okay, but he's just there. But I do remember him being referred to as Gotham Santa Claus. And I believe that partially ties in with his villainous motivations in this film. So this movie is still a Christmas film in addition to a superhero film, or at least I consider it more of a Christmas film than Iron Man 3, which even that one I consider to be a bit of a Christmas film. But I just really liked this movie. I kind of like it a little bit more than the original Batman, just because of the whole Christmas atmosphere and the fact that they went darker than the first. In fact, so dark that I think there was an argument made that could have been rated R, but I think they toned it down so that it could be PG-13. But that's just my guess. The only thing that I'm a bit iffy on in this film, which I didn't exactly have a problem with before, but looking back on it and kind of judging it by the same standards as we judge comic book movies today, it's kind of the fact that, and this goes for both Batman films, not just Returns, but definitely with Returns, that these films are, in my opinion, some of the most least accurate Batman films. And I mean, that's no more obvious than with the Penguin and Catwoman, where Penguin in the comics is just this arms dealer and mob boss, but here he was born with a deformity, so he gets raised by penguins after his parents dump him into a sewer. And I think like the Batman TV show that came out in 2005 actually used some of that, or at least they used that aesthetic for the penguin where he still has like the three fingers like in the movie. But I don't know. Looking back on it now, I just thought it was completely weird. But I do admit it did fit Tim Burton's style. And the same thing goes for Catwoman, where her origin is where she literally gets thrown out a window and pretty much dies, and then cats bring her back to life. Like there was just so much weird supernatural stuff that was going on in this film, or at least I perceived it as supernatural. But despite all that, this film was great. It kept all the great hallmarks of the original film, like Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Alfred and Commissioner Gordon, the music from Danny Elfman, which I believe that they've used that like the most in almost all of Batman media. Like I remember it being in the Lego Batman video games, and it was even played a little bit during the Justice League film that came out. But despite what I said about the comic book accuracy, like the film, this film was still pretty good. It's not something that I'd watch every single Christmas, but if I'm ever in a good mood, like on a weekend, then I'll just pop it in and just watch it, because, like I said, I think it's a Christmas film. But that's it for this Christmas movie review, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one. Bye, everyone.